Hey everyone, this is Brittnee Bond from the Remote Collective, and this is the amazing Carrie. Carrie, where are you from, my dear?
I am from Brighton in England.
Yay! So we are going to be interviewing Carrie. We're sitting here on Koh Phangan, which is this magical island out in the middle of nowhere in Thailand, and I'm going to share with you all the things that helped Carrie get here, like what helped her get on the plane. She comes from a corporate background, but now she's opening a healing center here on Koh Phangan. Like, how did she get from A to Z? How does she pay her bills? All of the crazy stuff in between, and how can you use this to help you get motivated to go do what you need to do in the world. And we're going to share some spicy things at the end, so make sure you stay to the end of the episode, and let's dive right in. How long have you been on Koh Phangan for? Tell me everything.
This time round I've been here for 1 year, but I've been coming and going to and from the island since 2016.
Okay, so wow, that's like 4.5 years.
Yeah.
That is a very long time.
Yeah.
What initially helped you to get on the plane? Like from living in England to being like, I'm gonna go live in Asia?
Yoga.
Okay.
Is the short answer. I was working a corporate job in learning and development before, 15 years as a senior learning and development manager. And I had this continuous tug at my heart telling me that something wasn't right. I was miserable, like literally miserable. I remember waking up in the morning, sitting on the edge of my bed and crying, wondering how I was going to get through the next working day and creating a strategy of how I was going to survive. And I knew that that couldn't last. And I went traveling with my then partner for a year, and we ended up going back to the UK, and nothing was the same. I knew that my life was never to be in England, that it needed to be out there somewhere. But on my travels, I'd stumbled upon this yoga school where I trained, and I actually trained there twice. And so after I split with my then partner, after returning from traveling, it was then that I knew that something bigger was calling, and I decided to take the plunge and do the teacher training. And then that's when my international lifestyle started.
So just to back it up a little bit, what is your what is your job background before yoga? What did you do in England?
So a learning and development professional. So I was like a senior L&D manager. So I would create and I would head up training functions in organizations. I would be the one responsible for creating training programs, creating training courses, delivering the courses, and evaluating them.
So pretty traditional corporate
Absolutely.
Job.
Oh yeah. I was a business partner. You know, I was the one that worked with all of the key stakeholders and delivered on the organization's goals.
Yeah, because a lot of the women that watch these episodes, this is why I was bringing this up, because they're like, I have this very traditional corporate job. I don't know how to make that into like living in paradise on a tropical island. So how, like, that takes a lot of bravery for you to be like, I'm going to leave this behind, the security of the paycheck, the everything. Yeah. How were you able to, be brave enough to make that transition?
It was a couple of elements. One of them being the desire to have a better life. The desire, the internal knowing that this wasn't right, like where I was at the time, and I wanted more for myself. So that was a big enough driver to give me the courage. I mean, I was scared. I was so scared. I remember crying and crying and crying on the phone to my mum. How am I ever going to make enough money when I'm out there? What am I going to do? I had no clue, no idea. But my socialized and corporate mind needed the answers there and then, needed it. Yeah. But I knew I had to go. So there was that. There was the emotional drive. And there was also just the sincere boredom of my life and how it was, and I knew that I was destined for other things, and I wanted other things.
And you did it. You got on the plane.
And I got on the plane, still crying with fear, but I knew that I would never know the outcome if I didn't get on that plane. I would never know anything different. And there's also it does take a lot of courage. It does take a lot of bravery, because it's not just the job that you have to consider. It's also your friends and your family pulling you back, saying, don't do that, don't do that. Why are you going to do that? You know, for whatever reason that they're saying those things. But it's another thing that you have to fight against.
Yeah, like they want you to stay in your comfort zone also.
Yeah.
Of like, this is safe. Like, because they're worried about you. They don't want you to go in somewhere that maybe you're not safe, or you're not like provided for, like all these things.
Yeah, but also they want you to stay in their paradigm.
It's their reality bubble.
Yeah. And for them, it's where they feel safe, it's where they feel comfortable. It's maybe not where they feel happy, but it's where they are. And they don't understand that there could be something different. And that's why they don't understand why you're doing it. So there's your stuff that you have to fight with, and then there's the external stuff that you have to fight with.
Yeah, that's so. I mean, I've dealt with that myself.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Especially, I think, being a woman wanting to do this, because I remember the first time I did a trip, they were like, "Why don't you just wait till your partner can go with you? Why are you doing this yourself? Are you safe? Like, are you sure you're going to be okay?" And you're like, "Are you saying this to any guys around me?" Like, I just felt so offended that I wasn't getting the same questions as all of my male friends.
Yeah.
But tell me, this is a question that I also get all the time. How is it for you out here? Like, you've made the plunge. You've been living abroad for over a year now.
Yeah.
And like, how do you pay your bills? This is like a very delicate question. I think a lot of people don't want to talk about, but I think it's very powerful to share with people. Yeah. So if you're comfortable, I'd love to share it with everyone.
So I go back again to that time where I remember sat in my parked car on the phone to my mum, crying hysterically with fear, not knowing how I was going to make money, because I didn't have a salary. I didn't have the safety net of an employer. But the only thing I could do was trust. That's the only thing I had in that time. I didn't have a backup plan. I didn't have a huge amount of savings. I didn't have someone who would pay my bills for me. The only thing I had was trust. And the knowing that never once in my life had I not been okay. So with that knowledge that I always find a solution and I always am okay, I got on the plane. And not surprisingly so, everything starts to unfold. When you're walking the path, when you're doing the right thing, when you're serving your soul, when you are expanding your vibration and your frequency and sharing your gifts, your love with the world, things work out.
Oh, I just got goosebumps.
Yeah. And so I started to manage a yoga center. I was managing a yoga center, and then I was teaching yoga at the same time, and then I was asked to do this project, and then I was commissioned to do this project, and now I'm actually starting my own business here in Thailand. I'm just going through the application process for the visa, registering the company. It just works. And you'll find that you attract and you meet the right people, that they will say, I really need someone who does this. Would you mind doing this for me? And so as it stands, I'm now going into partnership with my shamanic teachers, and we're going to be setting up a company where we will be offering retreats and workshops here that dealing with exclusive healing modalities that are not offered anywhere else in the world. So, I mean, asked me this that time when I was sat in the car with my mum, that I was going to be doing this, I would not have had a clue. But it's the way the universe works.
I always tell like women that really want to do it and they're scared, I say the hardest part is making the decision. Yeah. Because you waste so much energy, like, should I do it or should I not do it? Yeah. And when you just decide, like, I'm going to get on the plane, I'll figure it out. And if I need to go home and work, I will. Yeah. And like everything just unfolds amazing, right? Yeah, just knowing. And I've used a mixture of previous skills. I say previous skills, you know, still a skill I have, but I've used my corporate skills, I've used my learning and development skills, because people have asked me to complete business plans for them, or they've commissioned me to do another project. And I've used my new skills. I'm using my Grandmaster Reiki, I'm using my yoga teaching, I'm using all of the healing modalities that I've learned. So it's really a mixture, because I'm at that point now where I'm in that transition. I'm still in the transition. I'm not fully fledged in this new life, you know. It's a long transition, but I'm not fully fledged. I mean, this company isn't earning multiple whatever, you know. I'm using what I have and what I can, and you get by because you can, and you meet people, you network.
the right people come into your life at the right time and it works.
Yeah. So I want to ask about the masterminds now. So
Yeah.
I host these women's circle masterminds here on the island and also online. I'll put the link below. I would love for you guys to join if you want to. But did we meet through that? I can't remember.
I met you before at a party.
Oh yeah, just random party as you do on the island.
Yeah.
But then you found out about the masterminds.
Yeah.
She came because I run one here in Koh Phangan in person. And I just wanted to ask you, like, how it was for you, because a lot of women that want to join it, they're like, can I just join one time? I don't really know what it is. I'm a little bit scared. So like, what would you say to someone who does not understand what a women's circle mastermind is, and it's kind of a new thing? What would you say to them, or just like, what is your experience? Because I really want to know what you think.
Yeah, I am not new to networking. It's one of the things that I used to do. So I immediately knew and know the power of the network. Who you know, who can support you from an emotional level as well as from a practical level. And then they know this person, and then they know that person, and oh, I've got that skill, and oh yes, I've got that microphone that you can borrow. So when I heard about the Women's Circle Masterminds, immediately I knew that's the network that I want and need to get into. Having experienced networks in various degrees before, the idea that it was woman-centered, some people might cringe at that, but for me, I liked it because it just takes it to a whole new level. Women supporting women. How do you put it into words? It's a feeling. It's not something that you can articulate clearly. It's a feeling. You know you're in it together. You know your sisters. You know when you're out with the girls, it's different. If you're a boy, no, you don't. But when you're out with the lads, it's different, right? It's different. So I'm finding it hard to put that into words. It's the feeling. But what I'm getting out of masterminds and networking in general, it's the inspiration, it's the click, it's the spark, it's the knowing someone's got your back, it's the knowing, it's the heartfelt feeling that you can support someone else. That's why I gather into these things. And it really brings that creativity, that thought-provokingness, that you really start to challenge yourself as well as being able to support others. And it can take what you were thinking or where you thought you were going, it can take that to a whole new level.
And I've noticed that even for myself, because sometimes we have what's called a hot seat, so we focus on someone's business, and I was in it for one of my online ones this week, and then we focused on my business and like how I could grow or how I could merge things, and I was like, well, this is different than what I thought I was going. Like completely different direction, but like exactly what I needed at the time. And then to feel so supported in that process.
Different perspectives and different areas of expertise as well. You know, like you don't know who's going to be in that circle. You don't know who they know, and it's a marvelous process because you're no longer an island. Because let's face it, in the digital nomad world, in the traveling world, the chances are we're working alone, we're creating projects by ourselves, and when you're isolated within your own mind, then creativity and inspiration can become stagnant. So it really does spark that up.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. That's really powerful to hear. Like for me also, because to me this is like my life's work. Like I was talking to someone right before us meeting today, and I was just like, this is my thing. Like this is how I want to like empower women. This is how I feel like I'm helping. So like however I can do it better, like any feedback to me is like, it just it really warms my heart. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
Love you. So I'd love to wrap it up with this is a question I love asking, is if you were talking to your younger self or someone out there who's maybe who you were before you got on the plane, what would you wish that you had known, or like what would you want to say to them to help them?
Wow.
I know, it's a good one.
Immediately my mind goes to trust. Just trust. And the other thing would be, you are so bigger and you are capable of so much more than you have ever been told before in your life. And you will find out when you go out there and try.
That is so amazing. Thank you so much, Carrie.
Yeah, pleasure. Pleasure.
Yeah, so I'll put the link to everything that Carrie's working on below. Please subscribe and like this video to support and to get all the next videos, because we're going to be interviewing these power women as we go along. And yeah, we'd love for you to be part of our network. So if you want to join the Women's Circle Mastermind, I put the link below. Please join us. There's so many amazing women around the world that are part of this. Yeah, and thank you so much for joining Remote Collective. It's been really great interviewing you. I'm feeling inspired. This is like when I know everything's working. Is like we just have so much fun doing whatever we're doing. So I hope you guys have an amazing day. Go out there and do something that you need to be brave on. We're here supporting you from afar, and have a great day. We'll see you in the next episode.
How many takes do we get?